All right, so OpenAI just had their big developer day, and wow, the announcements they dropped are like a seismic shockwave for anyone who builds software. It's like they've thrown out the old playbook and handed us a new one. And the first page basically says, everything you were doing, it's over. So let's dig into what they actually released and figure out why this might just change, well, everything.
Okay, so this quote, did Sam Altman say this exactly word for word? No. But honestly, the message couldn't have been clearer. You know that whole complicated web of tools and services that developers use every single day? Yeah, OpenAI is basically saying, consider it all obsolete. This isn't just some minor update, you guys. It's a total reset. They're aiming to replace entire chunks of the software world with their own stuff. So what's really driving this huge, bold claim? Let's find out.
Okay, so first up, the first big piece of this whole puzzle is probably OpenAI's biggest bet ever. They're trying to turn ChatGPT from, a chatbot into a full-on app platform. The ambition here is just staggering. I mean, they're not just making another tool, they're gunning to create the next big operating system. And the goal is pretty clear. They want to build a world that you never have to leave.
And this is where we get to the core of what they think the new user experience should be. So forget opening up your Spotify app and just, hitting play. OpenAI's future looks like this. You open ChatGPT, you type out some long, kind of awkward prompt, and then the AI pushes that exact same button for you. I mean, hey, it's a vision for the future of user interfaces, I'll give them that.
But wait a second, does any of this sound kind of familiar to you? Because it should. Remember GPT plugins? Yeah, those were basically dead on arrival. And then we got GPTs, which, let's be honest, are mostly just collecting digital dust right now. And now, here we are with apps in ChatGPT. So you gotta ask, is the third time gonna be the charm? History would tell us, maybe be a little skeptical.
So where do we land on this? What's the final verdict? Well, you've got two camps. The bulls, the optimistic ones, they're all pointing to distribution. I mean, 800 million weekly users? That's a massive audience. Building your app inside ChatGPT could be a gold rush, especially for very specific things, like, say, using Zillow to find a house without ever leaving the chat. But then you've got the bears, the skeptics, and their argument is pretty simple. Why are we making simple things complicated? Most of the time, just opening the actual Zillow app is going to be way faster and better than trying to wrestle with a chatbot to do the same thing.
Okay, so to power this whole new world they're building, OpenAI is finally opening the floodgates to their most powerful models through a new API. And I mean the good stuff. We're talking access to the still unreleased GPT-5 Pro and that mind-blowing video generator, Sora 2. The creative possibilities are just insane. But the cost to actually use this stuff? Well, this is where it gets a little wild. No, seriously, that is not a typo. $1,800. That's what it's estimated to cost to generate one single hour-long movie with the new Sora 2 API. The source material put it pretty bluntly. That is an incredible amount of money to, and I quote, slop out a movie that nobody's going to watch. For the average developer, or even most companies, using these top-tier models is literally like lighting a pile of cash on fire.
Okay, thankfully, it's not all doom and gloom and insane price tags. OpenAI did throw the rest of us a bone. They also rolled out some new, smaller models specifically for things like generating voice and images. And the key here is that they're way more affordable. This actually opens the door for developers, the ones without a Silicon Valley-sized budget, to build real, practical things that don't bankrupt them. So yeah, there is a path forward for us mere mortals.
All right, let's switch gears a bit because this next part might be the most practical, immediately useful stuff that came out of the whole event, especially for developers. We're talking about the new toolkit. OpenAI is dropping tools that are designed to do one thing: automate all the annoying grunt work that developers hate doing.
First on the list is a tool called Codex. And what it is a new GitHub action that's basically like having an AI teammate who's always on call. So for anyone who's not deep in the dev world, here's how it works. A developer finishes some code and submits it for review. That's called a pull request. Instantly, this AI, Codex, jumps in. It starts reviewing the code for quality, it scans for security flaws, and it can even write the documentation for you. This is a potential game changer for any engineering team's productivity.
All right, the second big tool they announced is called AgentKit. This is OpenAI's big move to get into the no-code space. It's meant to be a single, unified place to build, deploy, and tweak AI apps, or as everyone in the industry is calling them now, AI agents.
So you're probably hearing that term AI agent a lot. What does it actually mean? Well, to put it simply, it's an AI that can look at its environment, make decisions, and then actually do things to reach a goal. A perfect example is a travel agent AI. It could check flight prices using one tool, book a hotel using another, and then put everything on your calendar all by itself, without you having to guide it every step of the way. And the potential for something like Agent Kit is honestly huge. You could have people who aren't engineers building some pretty complex applications just by dragging and dropping boxes in a flowchart. But, and there's always a but with these things, here's the reality check. Every single no-code tool in history eventually hits a complexity wall. It's a great place to start, an amazing way to build a prototype, but the second you need something really custom or really powerful, you're going to need a real programmer to come in, tear it all down, and build it right with actual code.
So, let's take a step back. After all of this, the ambitious new platform, the crazy expensive APIs, and these genuinely useful developer tools, where does that leave us? Are we just riding another tech hype wave, or is this the start of a whole new reality? And really, the most important question is, what does any of this mean for you, the developer?
And that really brings us to the big kind of philosophical question that's hanging over this entire thing. With all these powerful new tools in our hands, are we actually building the future of intelligence? Or are we just inventing incredibly complicated, incredibly expensive new ways to just push the same old buttons for people? It's definitely something to think about.